One of the things that all of us do when we're finished with a job or need to end it is to evaluate. We ask ourselves, how did I do? Am I satisfied with my performance? What do others think of my project? In specific spiritual endeavors, what does God think? These are questions that I have asked myself many times over my years of ministry. I want to feel like I have accomplished something of value and that my little life has counted for something. It's always been a goal of mine to leave the world a better place than I found it. Unlike building a house or highway, church work is not always easy to evaluate. Much of the work is difficult to measure and much of it is unseen. Having spent 30 years at New Covenant and several years before, I have had contact with many people. I've had many opportunities to make a difference. But what really has been accomplished? It is common among preachers and church leaders to evaluate ministry according to numbers, attendance, offering, and size of the building. Get around a group of pastors and the questions will soon emerge. How many are attending your church? How large is your budget? What is the size of your building? I spent many of my early years focused on these things. I remember several years ago praying and setting a goal of having an average attendance of 500 by the year 2005. Well, it didn't happen. Slowly, I have grown to evaluate my ministry according to the standards that are more in line with Scripture. Numbers are not a good way of measuring. Jesus wasn't very successful if we're going to add up numbers. In fact, it is here that we learn that much of ministry cannot be measured until after ministry is over, and perhaps not until we get to heaven. Much of the work of ministry remains unseen to the natural eye. All that to say that as I am getting ready to close the door as the senior pastor at New Covenant, I am trying to look at evaluating my ministry before I go. This is not an attempt to congratulate myself, because anything of any value that has been accomplished is the result of God's grace in the first place. Of course, there have been failures and disappointments. All in all, I have to say that I have been very blessed and so thankful for the grace that God has given me to minister and lead. I just want to be sure that I have done my best, and I also want to discover any unfinished business that I need to attend to before I go. In the months that I have left, I will continue to evaluate, to pray, and to examine my ministry before I go.